It is Christmas Eve. It is late afternoon, and outside it is dark and cold. It is snowing, and a huge snowman is standing in the garden. The children, Emma and Jens, are watching a Donald Duck cartoon on the television. Mr. and Mrs. Johnson are in the kitchen, preparing the Christmas dinner. "I think it's time," says Mr. Johnson to his wife. He smiles, takes a torch, opens the back door and goes outside into the garden. The snow is deep. He opens the door to the shed and goes inside. Mr. Johnson finds his Santa costume in a big bag in the wardrobe. He puts on the warm red costume, his Santa mask and his hat. Then he puts on his big black Santa boots. "Ho, ho," he says to himself and laughs a little. He looks perfect. When he tries to leave the shed, he finds that the door is shut and will not open. He tries and tries, but it is stuck. Maybe the lock is icy, or maybe there is now too much snow outside. He pushes the door and tries again and again, but nothing helps. The window is stuck too. An hour passes. Mr. Johnson is very worried. What will the kids think? They must think Santa is not coming. Suddenly, the door opens and he falls into the snow. He runs back into the house. He hurries into the living room and is amazed at what he sees. His children are happy and playing, and there are open presents everywhere. Toys, dolls, sweets, books, colored pencils, pens, DVDs, and many other lovely gifts. "Where have you been, Daddy? You missed Santa," says Emma, putting on a new dressing gown. "Yes, Daddy, you miss him every year." Mrs. Johnson puts her arm around her husband and says, "You were wonderful. The best Santa ever. How do you do it?" "I didn't do it," he whispers. "What do you mean? Of course you did. I saw you. You came in as Santa, like you always do, and you gave the kids these lovely presents. By the way, your beard was so real this year. Where did you get it?" "It wasn't me, love. I was in the shed all this time. I got locked in. I just came back to tell you what happened and how sorry I am to be so late." Mrs. Johnson stops smiling. "Well, who was the Santa who just visited us?" she asks. "Now that," he says, looking out the window and then back at his happy children, "is a very good question indeed."